Hi guys, and welcome back to another championship video. Moving on to round 33. Round 32, we got one score correct. Preston beating Peterborough 1-0. Let's get in to my predictions. And starting off with a very big game in the promotion race, Bournemouth versus Forest. Now Bournemouth have won 3 in a row, and that's thanks to a very late comeback against Blackpool. They won it 2-1, and it sort of shows a team that can hang in there, take all 3 points right at the death. It's the signs of a promotion team, really. And I think from now, it will be Fulham and Bournemouth that get automatics, but there could be a drop in form somewhere, or a very big pickup in form from someone else. One of those teams being Nottingham Forest. Now Forest had won 4 out of 5, then they drew 2-2 with Stoke. Again, it's a good point. Stoke can be a hard team to play against. And Forest are just outside the playoffs, but I think they will end up getting one of those playoff positions at the end of the season. This is a very big game, and I don't really know which way to call it. So I'm going to go down the middle, 1-1. Another big game between two teams in the top 6. Fulham taking on Huddersfield. Now Fulham, they are unbeaten in 7, winning 6 of those. And yeah, they're top of the league. They're looking like they're going to get automatic promotion. Huddersfield could be a bit of a stumbling block because they have drawn 2 games in a row, 0-0, but they're unbeaten in 12. So, potential banana skin here for Fulham. Could be a draw. Huddersfield could win it, but I think it's either going to be low scoring draw or Fulham win. And I'm going to back Fulham to end Huddersfield's unbeaten run. Fulham win 1-0. Blackburn versus Millwall next. And Blackburn haven't won in 4, and they haven't scored in any of those 4 games either. So they've hit a bit of a stumbling block. If they want to get playoffs, they need to start winning games again. Millwall, they've won 2 in a row, and they've had a good week. Their last result, beating QPR 2-0. Didn't expect it, but Millwall could be someone to potentially make a late playoff push. A lot of people would have put them either inside the playoffs or just outside. Could they get in at this late stage? Maybe. I think there's enough good teams up there to keep Millwall out, but you never know. As for this game, it's quite difficult to call, and I'm actually going to go for Millwall to win it. I think Blackburn, their bad form's going to continue. They always hit a stage in a season where they go for a bad patch and they just don't recover from it and they drop down the table. I think this is it, and I don't think Blackburn are going to get playoffs, to be honest. Millwall to win 1-0. Bristol City take on Middlesbrough now. And Bristol City, they've won 1 out of their last 5, and they lost their last game 3-1 against Swansea. Middlesbrough, they've only lost 1 out of their last 8, so they're in very good form, climbing up the table, and they won their last game 4-1 against Derby. I just think Middlesbrough are at a completely different stage, so I've got to back Middlesbrough there. They're going to get playoffs this season, I reckon, because Chris Wilder has transformed them. They're in such good form. I'm going to go Middlesbrough win 3-1. Cardiff take on Blackpool next, and this is a tight one. Cardiff, they've won 4 out of their last 5, and they look pretty much safe now. I don't think 3 out of those bottom 4 are going to pick up enough points to get near Cardiff. So yeah, safety for Cardiff, I reckon. And yeah, they've done well to turn it around because they started the season okay, but then they went through a terrible patch. Mick McCarthy got sacked, and it's only just started to pick up. Blackpool, they were unbeaten in 5 before that very late comeback against Bournemouth. And I did feel for them because they were 1-0 up for so long. And then, they concede, goes to 1-1. Fair enough. Still good result. Still definitely deserve a point. And the last minute, just the quality of Bournemouth comes through and beats them. But Blackpool, they're in a brilliant position in the table. I don't think anyone expected them to be where they are. And they're obviously safe. So that was the goal at the start of the season for Blackpool. Safety. And they've definitely hit it. But they've overachieved, if anything, and fair play to them. But for this game, I'm going to go down the middle, 1-1. Coventry versus Barnsley next. And Coventry, they lost 2-0 in their last game to Cardiff. Barnsley picked up only their third win of the season, and I don't think anyone saw this coming. They beat QPR 1-0. High-flying QPR, didn't see it coming at all. Fair play to Barnsley. The question now, can they carry that momentum on and stage, a late comeback in this season and try and get safe? I don't think so at this stage. If they win this one, then who knows? But to be honest, I think Barnsley are done. And I think they're going to lose this one. So Coventry to win, 2-1. A very, very important clash near the bottom of the table here. Derby versus Peterborough. And Derby, they've won 1 out of their last 5. And they lost their last game 4-1 against Middlesbrough. So their form has dropped off a little bit, but it's still way better than any of the other teams in the bottom 4. Peterborough, they haven't won in 8 and they drew 0-0 against Reading. Now, for me, 3 out of these 4 teams are going to get relegated. Barnsley, Reading, Peterborough and Derby. So this game is very important, and Peterborough have had a very important week. They got a point against Reading. Can they get anything against another relegation rival, Derby? Now, I'm expecting this to be a low goal scoring affair due to the fact that both teams will not want to lose this game. So they're just going to be focusing on keeping the ball out of the back of the net rather than going attacking. And I completely understand that. That's what I reckon is going to happen anyway. And I think someone's going to nick this 1-0. And down to Peterborough's away record, I think it will be Derby. Now, you look at how many points these teams have picked up this season. Derby have picked up way more. They're obviously only down there because of the points deduction. But as I said, it's going to be tight due to the fact that no team wants to lose. However, I'm going to go Derby to win, 1-0. Luton take on West Bromwich Albion next. And this is a very important game in terms of the playoff charge because Luton were very close. Then they lost 3-0 to Blues, held them back a bit. But they're still within reach of the playoff positions. West Brom expected to be in the playoffs, but they haven't done very well this season. Led to Valerian Ismail being sacked. Steve Bruce came in. And in his last game, drew 0-0 with Blackburn. The issue with West Brom is in front of goal. They cannot manage to get the ball in the back of the net, which I wasn't expecting at the start of this season. I actually predicted West Brom to win the league and thought that their attack would absolutely dominate, but it hasn't turned out that way. They've been quite a low-scoring team for the last few months. And I just think here, they will manage to breach Luton's defence, but Luton are a good attacking side, and they're good at home as well. So I'm going to go here for a 1-1 draw. Preston v Reading next. And Preston, unbeaten in 6, won 3, drew 3. They're on a good run. Could they get playoffs? They're definitely in the running for it. Reading, they had lost 7 in a row before getting a 0-0 against Peterborough, which was a game that they couldn't afford to lose. They didn't lose it, they got their point. Can they get anything going I don't think so. Preston are a good defensive side. Don't score all too many, but they don't need to when they keep the ball at the back of their net. I'm going to go Preston win 1-0. QPR versus Hull up next. And QPR have not won in 3 and they've lost 2 in a row without scoring. And they were to Barnsley and Millwall. Now Hull, they haven't won in 4 and they drew their last game 0-0 against Sheffield United, which is a very good point. This is more about QPR. I think they're going to want to bounce back after having a poor week, and they're going to do it here by keeping the goals out and scoring a few as well. QPR win 2-0. Sheffield United versus Swansea next, and Sheffield United are unbeaten in 7 with 2 0-0 draws in a row. Swansea, they've won 2 out of their last 3, so they've picked up the form a bit, and their last game beating Bristol City 3-1. I think Sheffield United are going to carry on their charge towards the playoffs by winning this 2-1. And finally, Stoke versus Blues. Now Stoke, they're unbeaten in 3, drawing 2 of those, and their last game was a 2-2 draw with Nottingham Forest, which is a very good point. And they could still get playoffs, Stoke, if they hit some good form now. There's definitely enough games left for them to comfortably get playoffs. Blues, we beat Luton 3-0. Great result for us. And that's 8-0 on aggregate now against Luton. So I don't know what happens to Luton when they play Blues, but yeah, they're not the same Luton that play pretty much everyone else. 3 new boys, Hernandez, Taylor and Bakuna, all on the score sheet. Just sort of shows how much the new signings have transformed our team. Now, we've lost 3 out of our last 8, but they have been against 3 parachute payment teams in Fulham, Bournemouth and Sheffield United. So, take out those teams that have a ridiculous amount of money and have been in the Premier League recently, and we're actually picking up some decent points. And I think that's what a few Blues fans are getting annoyed about. There's a few losses in there. Well, when we play teams like that, there's going to be. They've got way too much quality for us. But against everyone else, we're doing okay at the moment. For this game, I'm going to be positive. I was negative last week. I said Luton would win 2-1. We won 3-0. I'm hoping I'm not now positive and we lose, but I'm going to do it. Blues to win 2-1. And that's it. So those are my predictions for these championship fixtures. Get yours down in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more championship content. Hopefully Blues can make it 2 wins in 2. Up the Blues.